Hi guys, it's Derpy Moose 99 here, back with episode 7 of Banished with megamod 8. And just before we get started here, I want to clean up a few things from the last episode. I made a couple derps because, that's what I do. So if we look at our reed farms here, you'll notice these up arrows with a line. That means that we're being constrained by our resource limits here. So these are actually under miscellaneous. Miscellaneous can grow pretty quickly, so I'm actually just going to throw 2 zeros into there and call that a day as far as that goes. Um, Now, over here, you can see that our fire bundle manufacturing in the dock workshop wasn't working because there wasn't enough reeds, so um, that would explain it there. So hopefully, yeah, there they go. Okay, that was the first thing. The other one was I wasn't sure I read the food production properly here. So if we look under food used the last 1 year, Um, we used 13,190 and we produced 12,213. So actually I was correct. We're running short by quite a bit of food, or at least 1,000 a year for last year. Now we did add these 2 rice farms near the end, so it might come up, but the extra 4 beyond these 2 that we added for a total of 6 should help us out. But we need to keep a close eye on that one. In this episode, what I'd like to do is add more to our dock setup here. Of course, we're still waiting for eggs to start the chickens up. A couple other ways we can get eggs too. If you notice in the inventory here, we have 1 domesticated animal. If we get 4 of these, we can set up under here. There's an egg pen, pretty small, but it'll produce enough eggs to get us going. It'll also produce a few feathers as well too. So if we can trade for another 3 of these, or sometimes this accumulates naturally, albeit slowly. We can build, if we can get oats, we can build an oat farm, and then in somewhere, I don't know if it's in food, no, resources here. There's stables here. So some of these stables here, if you put a worker in it, it'll consume oats, and then it will find you domesticated animals, which you can use for the egg pens or sheep pens or stuff like that, or wool pens. Um, so let's try and trade a few through this trading post here. Um, so we'll still buy eggs if they show up, but just to show there's a couple alternative ways to get the eggs going. So as soon as we do get the chickens and the feathers and stuff, we'll grow up the reeds, we'll grow out some more workshops and get survival coats going. That's these guys here, um, reeds and feathers. Um, the other thing I want to do here is, because we have a bit of a food issue right now, I talked about some fishing docks over here, so maybe we'll try and work on that. Um, Schools, I talked about upgrading the schools once we had 4 building supplies, but that's when we had 2 schools. We've added the third one, so I'm going to have to wait until we have 6. Because what I want to do is I'll first upgrade the one that has the most students. That'll disperse the students out. Then once this is rebuilt, we'll upgrade the other 2, which will send the students back to where they are, closer to home. So that's what we'll do with the schools. The other thing I may want to do is I'm reserving this area in here for furniture production and other kinds of trade goods and stuff like that. So we might start laying out the infrastructure for some furniture, although with 1 industry trader and the way our town size is right now, we're not getting a ton of logs in. You can see up there, like, we're set to produce our own logs when we hit 600 and below. Um, so we're staying slightly above it, at least for the moment. What we may want to do is, as we build up some of the furniture production, is start the second industry supplier. And the other thing to do there is to lay out some more stockpiles and some maybe more of these specialized warehouses. Although they do take the building supplies, so we're going to have to wait a little bit for some of that until the building supplies start rolling in on a more consistent basis. And of course, we're going to work on the farms up here. So having said all that, let's start it rolling. We have some homes being built, I believe. Yeah, we need at least 2 there. So The home growth is going to have to be split between the docks, the farm area, and some in here for furniture if we decide to build that out. Okay, so there's that dock home. Okay, we have a trader. This is a green grocer. Um, so these docks are great because they have a little bit of everything show up. Like this one's specifically food, this one's specifically seeds, but this will be a wide range. So if you're short of food, you can use the food dock. You also get some food through this one as well. Right now we have 4,500. We're good. I don't see eggs, so I'm gonna let that one go. Now, as far as furniture and housing and stuff like that, what I might do is we'll just lay in a dirt road and we'll say that we'll reserve this area for housing. We may encroach on it later, but let's do that for now. We'll run this right down here and we'll work on setting up some start like maybe with just two joiners or two furniture shops to start with. Two more building supplies, great. Iron, we've got lots. Okay, do the math. All right, we're overpaying by 6. Can't really help that with 8. I'll take 1 iron as compensation. Thank you. Okay, so we had 3 building supplies. Now we have 5. Um, we should get another building supply fairly quickly, so maybe I won't lay in any major construction until we get the 6th building supply, and then we can just do the schools and get that over with and out of the way. All right, don't have enough builders. Um, let's maybe get those additional rice farms up and going. Now, how's our farming area doing here? All right, what I'm going to do is I'll start the barns up here. So I'm going to use the small ones, one on each side. And I'll just throw a little 3x6 in there. Now we'll flesh this out later, but I just want to be in a position to get started here. And I don't know if we can go all the way down here. Let's see, make sure this stone road goes out far enough. You as well. And we'll get the last. That's not gonna work. Let's do it this way. Okay, 3x6. So those will take a while to build. Oh, we got our first orchard. We have enough people to start it as well too. So let's go oranges. Go 3. Now, like I say, this will take a couple years to get going, but once they do get going, the orchards, in my experience, produce slightly more than the crop fields. And it's good again for diversity of diet. You want fruit, vegetables, grain, and protein. Which one of the reasons our health is so good right now. When you start with a forest node strategy, the gathering huts actually give you a pretty wide range of food. And then when the hunting cabin adds in the protein and stuff, you get a pretty balanced diet. So it's a good way of start. Lots of food, logs, and it's a healthy way of living too. So there you go. All right, so our rice farms are up. Um, let's get some dock workers in. So let's have a look at the very first one we put in just to see. So it's producing, so far this, in its early autumn, it's produced 900 for one person. So these things can be very powerful, but they also, if you, like I say, if you put too many in, they can fill up all your storage. Okay, we have a couple of traders. Okay, our food's 48. We're okay. Let's say goodbye. And you, pears, apricots, and blueberries. Now, blueberries aren't a bad one to get because the gathering huts here gather some blueberries. If you plant some more yourself, then what you can do is start doing some tin mining, which is down over here. Um, and you can start a tinnery. And what that does is takes, um, where are they here? This guy takes food and cans it basically, but also the yield of canning is slightly higher than the raw material, so you're actually increasing your food capacity. But it does it by a specific type of food. So if you're already growing blueberries, you buy some, grow some more, and it's a good candidate for canning. The other one that's good for that is fishing as well too, or fish. Okay, so we'll buy the blueberries and say goodbye. Another dock home is done. Okay, our reeds are being produced here. So just like we put the rice farm, or sorry, the rice farms in here, and the grain silo just for extra grain. The docks, again, we looked at the limits, but they use miscellaneous as their category. So if we come in here, there's a couple of miscellaneous barns. So this one here is a decent one. And if we just look at putting that in maybe besides the grain silo. So again, if these two general storages fill up, the reeds can go in here into the miscellaneous barn. The other sort of similar vein is if you put, or when we put the fishing docks in, if you use, again, the storage over here, and this one is a meat locker. So that's for meat only. So if these fill up again, then you've got your meat locker for your fish. Okay, we'll let that one go. Now we don't really care when that finishes. How are we doing for people? Okay, 5 houses required. So I think what we're going to do is we'll spread that around. So one on the docks. Um, I think we'll put another one up here for the woodcutters and the farmers and that kind of stuff. And, maybe even 2. And we'll throw 2 up here. So that's probably that's too many, strictly speaking, but by the time we finished, I'm betting we'll need them. Our population growth is pretty steady here, so let's let that go. Okay, now okay, this looks like the next crop area to come clean for us. We got a trader. Okay, general hauler. So we've got stone here. We've got good stone for now. Tools. Okay, so let's look at setting up a consistent trading strategy here. So I think what we'll get from this one is iron, our usual stone and log, so our usual. But I'm going to throw in steel tools here. Now I won't buy them unless we really need them. But if you've watched the previous episodes, you know I like insurance policies. So this is an insurance policy. If you somehow don't have enough blacksmiths, you run out of iron. Um, this insurance policy will help you 2 ways. You bring in iron here, but you can also buy a batch of tools if you need them in a big panic. All right, so every visit, iron, stone, log, tools, and we'll let you go. Okay, so iron is kind of filling up our areas here. So I want to have a quick look. Yeah, I think we can put some of these across. So, um, yeah, how do we look on our building supplies? 5. All right, I'll tell you what, I'm going to hold off until we have the schools done, and then I want to make sure we build some of these specialized warehouses. Our iron is starting to sort of fill up our stockpiles here, which means it's time to get into some of the specialized stuff. All right, our next orchard is ready. Let's make sure we have some workers. Now this one was oranges, so hazelnuts. I think the nuts count as proteins. Make that 3. So that gives us some fruit and some protein. Now our crop field is ready too, but we don't really have the people for it. You know what I'm going to do? This guy down here, we've got rice going on the docks. So let's turn this guy, actually the farthest one. Let's turn that off. And then this one here, good old cabbages. Now we're still one short there. I don't really like running that close to the edge on laborers and builders, but our food, we want to sort of get this back under control at least as much as you can and banished for the moment. So let's get those cabbages coming in. Besides, my wife's Ukrainian, so we like cabbage. All right, 2 building supplies. There you go. What we want here. The older I get, the more math becomes difficult. All right, so there's our additional building supplies. That should give us 7 if I'm remembering correctly. I want to do the schools, but we only have 1 builder right now. And we've got all these houses teed up. So let's let the construction finish. And there we lost our labor. Rats. Okay, let's take a woodcutter out for the moment. We have over 4,000 firewood, so we're probably okay to borrow as long as we remember to put back. All right, guys, build those houses up. Now, of course, with some deaths there, we might actually be overbuilding. Well, it says we need 6, so in reality, that's probably 4 or 5. So we're probably on the edge again, but that's okay. Okay, how are we looking in storage here? Accumulating rice and reeds. Because I've only got 1 workshop doing fire bundles right now, we could drown ourselves in reeds if we're not careful. So we'll keep an eye on that. Maybe shut them down temporarily, or if we get the eggs and start building the survivor coats, would be okay. Anything in our grain silo? Not yet. Okay. All right. Let's get some prioritization going here. Okay. Another trader coming in. What have you got for us? Do we have some more root vegetables? Squash or maybe olives? Yeah, olives can be used for multiple things, so let's go for that. We could actually, our firewood's pretty good. We can actually get the squash too. That one's a cheap one. Fully drain out our seed trader, but there you go. Thank you. Okay, food. Come on, eggs. No eggs. Don't need to buy any food. We're looking okay there. I have a suspicion that those 6 rice farms really helped, so let's have a look. Okay, so our production is up quite a bit, so we're looking good there. And our graph is back trending in the right direction. So we've sort of a temporary victory in the never-ending battle for food and Banished. Okay, it'd be nice to turn these guys on, but we don't really have the people for it yet, and our food's okay, so um, we'll have to remind ourselves in the next winter before spring to come back and have a look and see if we have the manpower for that. Any students here? Oh, 8 students, that's pretty good. Another trader. Gilded merchant. Okay, this not really any use to us right now. It's actually an area I haven't really explored too much, so interested if anybody has any great ideas on or clever ideas on how to make, trading goods here. But for now, we'll say goodbye. Okay, now that was these guys here, so woodcutters and farmers like we expected. Get that doghouse built. Okay, our fuel's going down a bit, and that's because probably we took the woodcutters out here, so let's get those guys back. A vendor was stabbed to death. Crime and banished? What the heck? All right. Oh, more building supplies are starting to roll in now, which is good. We don't need additional stone beyond the 200 we've purchased. But let's get these building supplies. Thank you. Okay, 2 more houses and then we'll upgrade the schools. Oh, cabbages are being harvested here. Food just went up over 10,000 for the first time, so that's good. And you can see the orchards here are starting to come in, although they won't produce food for another year or 2. All right, houses, come on. Oh, a bunch of new laborers there too. Okay, let's see what the trader wants or has. Nothing there for the moment. Okay, that's our last construction that was, what does it say, 16? Oh, because we have the egg farms over there. I don't think we have anything else being built other than, yeah, the barns. Oh, that's okay. So let's talk about the schools here. So this guy is 10. Now, right now we don't need the 80, but if we fill in all the housing here and grow to 1500, we're going to need quite a bit of capacity of schools. You can see the ratio here. So we have 130-ish people, 17 students. So if we grow to 1500, yeah, we're going to need, 3 or maybe 4 farmers colleges for capacity. So I find doing the upgrades now when you don't really need it makes sense. And the other issue with doing the upgrades is in order to keep the students, because you don't want to lose them as students and throw them into general population uneducated, um, is you're going to move people from close to the home to far away from the home. And that means they're going to be longer in school. And you want to minimize that as much as possible. So if we look at this one here, which is in our, our central area, it's got the most students. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to save just before I do this in case I bork it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to upgrade this one. Okay, and just unpause for a moment. We got an extra teacher. Now, you can see that this one's now scheduled to be upgraded, and the students have gone to the other two schools, which is what we wanted to happen. So that's good. We didn't lose them as students, but it does mean that their education is going to take a bit longer. So let's get everybody concentrated on this. Look, suddenly we have a whole bunch of laborers here. I'm just going to quickly go up here. So happily, it is early winter, so spring is kind of spring. We don't immediately need the food, so I think what I'm going to do is start these orchards. So next one along the line is peach, and you are almonds. All right, so when spring sprungs, or however you say that, those can start planting on the orchards there. Okay, back to our school. All right, let's do this. Okay, it looks like our candle maker is out of tallow as well, so try and remember that when the traders come and see if they have any tallow to trade. Okay, our seeds trader. One of the things we are looking for here is oats, and I don't see it, but let's get some potatoes. Thank you. All right, so our first farmer's college is starting to come up here. Okay, I think we didn't get to the furniture, but we got a few things going here. So I think once the school upgrades are done, sorry, I'll end the episode and we'll pick up the furniture and stuff like that next time. Okay, what does this trader have? Another grocer. We do not need any food at the moment, so thank you. Come on, college. All right, so the farmer's college is done there. Now we'll put a teacher in temporarily. And if you remember, this was the school that had the most students. So I'm going to simultaneously upgrade these ones, and that'll send all the students back. Now, what it'll mean is the students that were actually living out in these areas are going to take longer to graduate, but percentage-wise, most of the students were in this area. So I think overall that's the right strategy there. Okay, we don't need those two teachers for the moment. This one probably was the busiest of the other two, so let's prioritize that one. Okay, oranges and hazelnut. I'm betting that next year they'll start to provide. We can close that one. Oh, nice. So somebody has measles. All right, so remember we built our tiny hospital. We've got it over here. We'll turn it on. We'll put a physician in. And let's go back to, say, 5 and see how we do here. Now, unfortunately, what they do is they finish their current job first, and then they pick up a job of going to the hospital. So let's see, maybe we got lucky here, and they, oh, see, infected somebody in the dock on the way by. And we can see we have 2 patients in the hospital, so luckily we built that hospital ahead of time, and I highly recommend doing that. All right, let's see how our second college is doing here. Okay, if we were struggling with food, which we're not currently, we could turn on this field, but let's just leave that for the moment. Do we have? Yeah, I think our lumber's okay. Oh, we need a lot of houses. Okay. Lumber 364. You know, our log supply is pretty good. Let's bump that just one more up. So this construction limit is lumber, but also building supplies. So the more building supplies we accumulate, we're going to eat into our resource limit here. So we want to keep sort of marching that up as we grow. Okay. Now I think, we've got enough of these traders set up. So I'm going to put this at, start with 6 to start automatically purchasing these building supplies so we don't have to show up my bad math skills anymore. And our stone's good, so thank you. All right. We got chicken, but no eggs. There's some delicious bacon there. I should have bought that. All right, school. Now, yeah, there's a fair amount of people that need houses here. All right, so let's get the schools up and then we'll get some housing going. And then, like I said, maybe we'll end the episode there and come back next time and do some furniture work. Maybe turn on this second industry trader here. Actually, to remind me, I'll just put that over there. Okay, let's just check in on our dense tree shack here. That looks pretty good to me, and we've got the workers, so let's actually turn this guy on. And let's up our limit to 800. So this limit only applies to what our workers do as far as buildings, right? So if we have over 800, we can still collect manually and we can still trade. So that limit has nothing to do with traders. It just specifies when these, when the Forester Lodge are actually going to harvest, if that makes any sense. All right, I'm going to go back to 10. I play 5 as the game or as the town gets larger, but 10 in the beginning. I guess it's a patience issue. I hate waiting for all this stuff. It does mean you have to sort of keep an eye on things quite tightly, which I sometimes fail to do. All right, so that's college number 2. And let's go get this one by the docks going. Yeah, there's a lot of people walking across the open ground here too, so maybe we'll lay out some furniture makers and some more storage and get some roads in for people. Although I don't like putting angled roads in because it kind of eats into your footprint. Okay, so I'm going to leave the physician working in the hospital. I have no idea if that contributes towards health, but we have enough people now that it's something that one person's not significant in the grand scheme of things here. All right, we got eggplants. I won't get us eggs though. I think we actually have enough seed for now. All right, now how many houses exactly do we need here? So it says 12, so I'm feeling like 8 or 9 might be a happy place. So again, we're going to stay with the strategy of adding them in a dispersed basis here so we can grow various areas of our town. So we'll throw 3 in the docks. We've added a bunch of traders here, and we're going to add some more, so we'll throw 2 there. We could definitely use more up here as well too. Okay, 2 traders at once. Oh, that's a lot of building supplies. Cool. I think we already bought. Did I set that up wrong? Hmm. I thought okay, well, let's see what happens on the next one. Oh, it didn't buy any because we're out. All right, so we're starting to get higher volumes here. So I think what we're going to need to do is crank this up a little bit. So let's put her an additional 2 in the industry supplier so we can replenish a little bit quicker. And let's increase our amount of firewood to 1,000. And I don't know how's our perfume supply doing here? We 590, so we might be working our way. Oh no, we got tons of flowers. Okay, so let's put that on the to-do list here. We need any eggs? No. Okay. Let's just quickly uh, luxuries. We're looking for luxuries. Okay, let's quickly throw an additional pair of perfumeries in here. Oops. I believe I borked that placement. All right, so we got some houses going, some perfumeries. I think a few more houses up here wouldn't go amiss. So just the same as our strategy down here where we have the houses dispersed close to the workplaces. I find when you do farming here, you want to build a few out near the farms. But I probably won't turn all of these on for the moment. But still within the, or close to at least the market circle. So we'll go 3 there. All right, so maybe I'll let that run, end the video here. We'll come back when some of that stuff's built. Just check this guy. Oh, we already dismissed. I think there was one here. Yeah, sorry, we have nothing to trade with you, so we're going to let you go. And this one, nope, nothing there. Thank you. All right, guys, that was episode 7 of Banished with megamod 8. I've been Derpy Moose 99, and thank you very much.